Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we're going to be talking about more secret details of the life and past of Arthur Morgan that you might not have known about. And this is all new discoveries that have been found by people in the community, data miners that have actually dove into the files of the game and found cut and beta content. And we'll talk about that as we get going. And in this video today, we're going to specifically focus on Arthur's wife, Eliza, or his girlfriend, or the mother of his son, Isaac, and also his newborn child that we never got to see from the very beginning of the game. So Arthur does not talk about his past very much. You actually have to find it through in-game journals or writing or side missions that you can do, like, for example, the one where you go with Rains Falls, and Arthur talks about Eliza and Isaac, their deaths, and we've tried to uncover this in multiple videos in the past, but it turns out Rockstar actually had a lot more planned for Arthur's wife and even potentially a newborn son that might have been key characters throughout the story. Now, the information we're going to be taking a look at today comes from a user, Pariah87. I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel in the description. If you guys are interested in more content like this, findings, discoveries of things you might not have known, his channel is going to be perfect for you. And one of the first things he found was that Eliza, who again is Arthur's wife, was actually supposed to be a gang member, but she was actually cut altogether. This is actually her in the boat right here. And there's even some audio that we'll take a listen to in a little bit, but you guys can see that this was going to be Arthur's original love interest before Mary Linton, before Charlotte, before any of the other potential members of the gang. And you guys can see here that she has a ton of audio lines in the files that are specifically mentioned for her, like underscore Eliza long day, underscore Eliza night, etc. So there are clear clips, audio clips of this cut character. She was supposed to be involved in the gang. And there's more than audio files found for her. There's actually textures specifically meant for Eliza as well, CS underscore Eliza, and these are the textures for her. So you can see things like necklaces and what her skin would actually look like. So those are some leftovers in the file, and the theory is that because Eliza was cut, this was actually used for two other characters, Mary Linton and Leon's niece, who look extremely similar in game. Their textures share many similarities too. So it looks like Eliza was just simply repurposed for multiple characters throughout the story. So now we know the existence of Eliza in game, and this was actually even confirmed by Arthur Morgan's voice actor and motion capture artist, Roger Clark, where during an interview he revealed that Eliza was supposed to be a part of the gang, at least during the chapter 1 in the snow in Coulter. And this is interesting because there's actually coordinates for where Eliza is supposed to show up.
She knew who I was, what my life was. I didn't want to promise nothing I couldn't keep, but I said I'd do right by them. Every few months I'd stop by there for a few days. He was such a good kid. She was too, I guess. Just a kid, 19.
What happened?
I got there one day and saw two crosses outside. I knew right away. Turned out some bastards had come through. Robbed them. Shot them dead. And offered $10. Hardened me. Feeling that kind of pain. But I know now that you don't get to live a bad life and have good things happen to you.
I think you're being hard on yourself.
Maybe. All I can do now is try and make some things right.
And so if you teleport to those custom coordinates, you'll actually find that they are in the snowy mountains up in Coulter, which would perfectly align with obviously where the gang was during chapter 1. So all that's pretty awesome. And add on top of that, there are specific audio files that we can take a listen to of her voice, but also the other gang members interacting with Eliza as well. So take a listen to these right here.
Arthur! 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 Arthur!
Abigail? What's wrong?
Have you seen Eliza?
Hey, Eliza,
Go away!
what you doing out here? Trying to get yourself killed?
What concern is it of yours?
Well, there are easier ways.
You seen that girl, Eliza, Mr. Morgan?
Do I know you?
Eliza, I was...
So it definitely looks as if Eliza was going to be an important part of the gang. And I'm not sure why Rockstar decided to cut her, because her backstory sounds actually pretty interesting. Arthur's love life in general, his romance potential options that he could have, and this even leads us to a newborn son that you might not have known about as well. And what's even more interesting is this can be found also.
Like Isaac, you only hear about it if you
His son, right?
go on, if you go on that Rains Falls mission. And Rains Falls, like Arthur opens up about his dead son, and then Rains Falls says, hang on a minute, I gotta pick some herbs over here. That bit. So that initially was kind of incorporated at the very beginning of the story, where Arthur had a newborn that froze to death on the way through Coulter, but then that got cut.
So Roger Clark also mentioned that during the very first chapter of the game, Arthur was supposed to have a newborn baby. And one of the files found in the game was P_CS_baby_intro01X. And it looks like it's almost this egg, but I think it's supposed to be like a baby wrapped in like this swaddling or cloth. So it looks like that right there was supposed to be Arthur Morgan's newborn, who, according to Roger Clark, would have ended up passing away during that first chapter in Coulter. Now, why Rockstar chose not to include that in the game, I'm not sure. It would have been a very brutal opening chapter to see the death of the gang members, but also to see Arthur Morgan start with like one of the toughest losses you could imagine, losing a newborn child. So maybe Rockstar thought that was going to be too extreme, or it would have been too rough right out of the gate. So they just decided to cut her altogether and decided to cut the newborn child altogether. But this certainly makes his backstory way more interesting. He was involved with Mary Linton. He was involved with Eliza. He had a son, Isaac. He had a newborn that we didn't get to see. Oh man, this is why I wish we had like a story update that took us to maybe like the Blackwater Massacre and even before that, so we could get these interactions with these older characters and even some potential cut ones as well. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. I know we talked about a lot today, but this was extremely fascinating to me to get more secret details on the life and backstory of Arthur Morgan before the game started, with cut characters and hidden locations and all this sort of interesting stuff. So like I said, let me know what you guys are thinking in those comments down below. I would love to hear from you guys down there. What do you think of Eliza as a character? What do you think of Arthur's newborn son? Again, let me know what you're thinking in those comments down below. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Red Dead Redemption videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.